Tribe, I missed you. So should be Friday, and happy Friday. Remember, if you like the video, to give it a thumbs up, smash that like button, and a comment and a share. If you, oh, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And the thumbs up and the comments, again, it's time sensitive. Of course, you might be watching this and what is the future to the rest of us, and it's sometime in 2036, in which case it probably doesn't matter that much anymore. But if you happen to be watching this on Friday afternoon or early evening, it's really appreciated and helps to grow the channel. Today's topic is it's a fun one because I'm responding to a question from the tribe. I previewed it in the last video on Wednesday, and it's a question from Veronica, and the question is, let me pull it back in front of me again. I'd love to hear about your inspirations as a writer and director, favorite movies, books, characters, scenes, even. Obviously, you know, I love the soundtrack to DTK, know where that inspiration came from, but what about the rest? Okay, so, I mean, there's so much in that question that I could probably actually do a few videos on it. But I think the writer-director thing is actually, I think they're fused, and because I think they're fused, I should be able to at least touch on the writer aspect of it, because I will talk about the Post-Human series a little bit. But before I do that, we'll talk about Dangerous to Know. So that's the psychological thriller feature film that I recently had the world premiere for in London, London, UK, at the Fright Fest film festival. It was pretty amazing. I mean, it was really surreal. Unfortunately, it happened during the pandemic year, so we were actually here in the living room when we got to see it. The lead actress, Bridget, came over, and it was nice to have a representative from the cast. It wasn't a complete lockdown, and Bridget was in our bubble back when we could still have bubbles. But it was really nice to have that. She even had a gown, and I know that she would have loved the red carpet treatment, because Fright Fest is held in Leicester Square in London, and there's red carpet, and it's on IMAX. It would have been amazing. I still hold out hope that someday I'll get to see, if not Dangerous, then one of the two sequels there at Leicester Square, and actually get to do the red carpet and get to do the audience Q&A and everything in person. It was scheduled, and we were really gonna go. And I think I mentioned this in a live. I believe Bridget actually got tickets. I'm actually not sure. Hopefully they were refundable. But Bridget was obviously very excited to go, because we love connecting with fans. There's a connection between Fright Fest and Dangerous that goes beyond just the fact that we were selected, and that is that, back to Veronica's question, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I think, is one of the inspirations that I have. The Swedish version of it appeared at Fright Fest, and it may have even been the English language world premiere. I know that Pan's Labyrinth had its English language world premiere there. It's a festival that hosts some pretty big movies, and that was special to me because the American version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, done by David Fincher, was a huge influence. Now, the two movies aren't the same as far as plot goes, they're both psychological thrillers, and I think that there's a sense of the girl with the dragon tattoo in Dangerous to Know, but the characters aren't similar, and the similarities really don't go too far beyond just some of the tone, even though ultimately Dangerous to Know is its own thing, and that's, I think, represented in some of the cinematography too. There are moments where, and I think just about any first-time director does this, and because I was my own cinematographer as well, where you look at who you think are the best, and I think David Fincher is just the best technical filmmaker. If you don't know who he is, you've seen his movies though. He directed Seven, he directed Fight Club, Benjamin Button, most recently Mank, which I think was up for an Oscar, and Gone Girl. And Gone Girl is another one of his movies that I'd say was also an inspiration. Again, the tone of the movies has a similarity, but the stories aren't particularly close. But there's this feeling that is similar, and there's aspects of it, but it was very nice, and it felt really good after the first, I'd say actually probably around the fourth or fifth day of filming. I really felt comfortable enough to move beyond what my heroes have done, and I would make choices that I'm not sure that Fincher would necessarily make. It's nice to have a director or some filmmaker, it could be a cinematographer, I suppose, too, that you can use as like a safety wire, and cling to that at first until you get comfortable. But shooting on Dangerous was, I think, 40 plus days, and beyond the fourth or fifth day, I felt really comfortable with what my aesthetic was and how comfortable I felt moving the camera around and what I wanted to do with it. And it was really nice, actually, to see in the reviews that was something that was commented on in pretty much every one of the reviews. And I'm really glad that people appreciated it and appreciated all the care that went into all of those shots. I think as far as writing screenplays goes, I really like Quentin Tarantino.
I grind my teeth.
I was pushing myself when I was writing Dangerous to Know to write a scene that would rise up to the level of the opening of Inglourious Bastards.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
It might be the best filmmaking that exists. It's really such an amazing scene. I love the tension. I love the dialogue. I love how many elements are going on. There are things that, revelations that occur, and they occur so subtly, but it's all happening in the backdrop of World War II. And because in Western European and North American culture, and in cultures, I think, pretty much all over the world, France during World War II is so pregnant with meaning. We all know immediately we've got dread. There's something is not going to be right. it's a brilliant setting for that scene. You don't need there to be a whole bunch of character backstory because we know enough about the conflict for it to have an incredibly gripping effect right off the bat. And I thought that was so masterfully done that I wanted to take my shot at seeing if I could reach it. And I took shots at it a few times in Dangerous to Know. And it's a wonderful thing when you try to reach the level of what you think is the best, what you just think is the best ever. You're likely going to do pretty well and write some pretty good scenes. And so Tarantino, maybe even if he doesn't know it, he helped make Dangerous to Know better because he helped me raise my game, as did David Fincher. So the answer to the question is, as far as filmmaking goes, favorite screenwriter, Aaron Sorkin's fantastic, but favorite screenwriter is Quentin Tarantino. I watched A Few Good Men again recently. Amazing. I hadn't seen it since I was really young, and Sorkin was really young when he wrote it, but wow, is that ever good? And it still holds up great. All the actors are fantastic.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Avengers Infinity War is, I wouldn't say it's an inspiration because it came after most of the books that currently exist in the series had already been published, and when Superhuman already had a draft. But I thought Avengers Infinity War was the closest, and I made a video about this, I think last year, maybe even earlier, about how I thought that was the closest Jenny and I, anyway, had seen to a movie that would be like what the Posthuman movies could be. And again, kind of like with Quentin Tarantino choosing World War II and occupied France as a setting, and how that gave so much history and context. The fact that there were so many movies that built into that movie allowed for an incredible breakneck pace and amazing scenes with characters that are very important, but they're showing up 30, even later than that, but 30 minutes into the movie. I remember Spider-Man jumping in at about the 30-minute mark and thinking, man, this movie's already so good, and Spider-Man's just showing up. And it just kept getting better. And that's how I feel about the Posthuman series. Once we're able to make them into films, the characters just have so much backstory, and you can, the same way that the screenwriters, the Russo brothers in Avengers Infinity War are able to take groups of the characters and break them up. I mean, all the best characters don't have to be in the same room together for the movie to be incredibly entertaining, because it's such an ensemble cast. And I feel the same about our series. And I know that if you're a fan of the Posthuman series, and most of you are, that you feel the same way. You don't have to have Craig and James and all in this room together at the same time. You can definitely have them carrying out their own storylines. They're all strong enough characters that they can do that, and it's a lot of fun to do those sorts of interweaving storylines in the books. And I was always thinking about film when I was writing it. So George Lucas is another inspiration too, because Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi did that very well, where they would take great characters but put them off in their own storylines, and neither storyline was weak. Sometimes there was even more than two. There could be three, and the characters are important enough that you feel really invested, and that's why I think the Posthuman series has been referred to as high octane, and it's definitely high octane. I love that about it, and so I think that actually is an inspiration rather than just a comparable. And for technical director, David Fincher. I just feel like I love his aesthetic. I love how much he cares about every shot and everything that goes into the movie. I am the same. I am the same. And that's the one area where I think we see exactly eye to eye. You got to know everything that's going on in the movie, and you got to know everybody's job better than they do. And if you do, people notice. And it's funny because I don't have a reputation yet as a filmmaker, not a global reputation anyway. I've had this world premiere, but the movie hasn't had a wide release. And to see the reviews consistently keep saying that you could see the care that went into it, the care in all of the shots. It's nice to know that it actually came through. Okay, so that's it. That's it for this video. Tribe, you are amazing. I gotta remind you, so thumbs up, a like, a comment, a subscribe, and I'd love to answer. And now we get to show another review. Thank you. If there are any of the books in the series that you haven't left a review on, we'd always appreciate it. Tribe, I'll see you next week, Wednesday.